Hello guys, welcome to the next episode of The Wind Down. I am here with none other than the Keshav. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing great. I'm really excited to be on this show and, thank you for having me here.
I mean, I'm really excited. This is more of a different flow, I guess, from the other ones. More informative, trying to get the big old scoop as much as we can without sending your death warrant. But we always start the IPC Wind Down with the same old question. Did you bring your favorite drink?
Yeah, so for me, I've been actually, cleansing on water speed recently. Memorial Day weekend was fun, but also a lot. So taking it easy for a little while, and I got, a water cleanser going for a little while, but yeah.
Now we got some Hype Sauce G Fuel and a good old Carnage Shaker cup. In 10 seconds, can you tell me what you do?
I run CharlieIntel, the biggest Call of Duty news site out there with over 2.3 million followers on Twitter and 150K on Instagram. Been doing it for 10 years now.
How did you start your journey that led you to this point today?
Yeah, so CharlieIntel started, I think it was actually 10 years ago this month, right? And people who remember Modern Warfare 3, right? There was a lot of leaks that happened in the month of May for that game, right? There was nonstop leaks. If you guys might remember, Kotaku posted literally like segments of trailers and gameplay from the campaign out there. And that's when I was really into Call of Duty, right? I started playing in Call of Duty 4, Modern Warfare, then I went on to play, World at War, Modern Warfare 2, Black Ops. And then Modern Warfare 3 came around, and it was June when myself and Victor, who lives in California, he decided to start up CharlieIntel, and I joined him literally like a day later. Our first ever article and stuff was E3, when Robert Bowling was at E3 showing the game demo. I still remember watching that and Robert Bowling's controller disconnected on stage, which was a funny moment we posted on Twitter. We had 0 followers when we started. I mean, it was quite literally like 10 people that were just friends of our mutual friends that followed us. Modern Warfare 3 was the first game we covered fully, right? From announcement to release. I was too young to attend events then. I was only 14. So, the game is rated M. You got to be 18 for events. Victor went out to Call of Duty XP that year. And, in many ways, like the rest was kind of history from there, right? We just kept pushing ourselves to even though this was just a fun side thing to do, it also became part of our lives. And we kept building and building, even in the worst years too, right? When Infinite Warfare launched, that was, I think, the worst year for everybody in the community. We still maintained an audience. It's in many ways like CharlieIntel has grown up with Call of Duty as a franchise. I always say CharlieIntel will be around as long as Call of Duty is around.
My one question to that is, how did you connect with Activision on a closer level than other news sites?
In many ways, when we started, it's kind of funny. I mean, we were on the radar, Activision's radar, for the wrong reasons. Leaking stuff is what we were known for them, right? I mean, back when we started this out, I'd say we didn't have a filter in that regard as to what we leaked. If anything was leaked, we'd post it, right? We wouldn't hesitate. We would post anything, like any poster or any retail listing or whatever it was. That's how we kind of appeared on Activision's radar. I mean, Activision didn't have any influencer program, right, back in the day, right? No company really had an influencer program, and it was all new to them. And we actually got invited to a Black Ops 2 event where there was Nate Shot, Hutchison, and all the OG people, right, that were there. That was an event that we went to, and we sort of started building relationships with different PR people from there. We built a genuine connection with the PR, right? It wasn't just sort of a push and pull or just use everybody for everything. It was more of actually knowing people. We've slowly built ourselves up to be a massive account now, and in many ways, right, it's hard to ignore us too now, right? In the past, maybe it was a little bit easier to ignore us, but now it's we're this loud, huge thing that just sits there. Building relationships is, I think, the key way to get yourself up in this industry.
How did CharlieIntel evolve over that space of time to adapt to its surroundings, the landscape of Call of Duty as a whole?
We, I think, stuck to our roots in a way that you don't see a lot of accounts do. Even if there was negativity, we persevered and just continued to be the Call of Duty news source. We kept posting every update there was on Infinite Warfare, on Modern Warfare Remastered, right? Even things that people didn't care about sometimes, like the zombies mode, we would post every update there was for it. We just kept pushing through the hate and through the negativity. And, even though that period of time when the announcement period to launch, was very, very rough, right? With the, #1 most disliked video game trailer of all time now, whatever. And I think we came out on the other side because we persevered in that regard, right? We came out like that. And I'd say the knowledge we learned was that there is a Call of Duty fan base, regardless of what our mentions say. Right, even if every mention I get is dead game or Battlefield is better or Halo is better or whatever the heck, it doesn't matter because there still is that casual COD audience playing every single day, and they're not the ones replying, right? They're the ones liking the tweet or checking our site and stuff, and that's who we have to do it for at the end of the day.
How did you find the Jetpack Call of Duty years?
They were, oh man. They were super weird. People really, really like Black Ops 3, right? Everyone renowns Black Ops 3 as this super, super fun game that they love, that the movement system was the best ever. If I'm being honest with you, I think Advanced Warfare was the best jetpack game. It has to do with the fact that Sledgehammer Games wasn't scared to innovate there. I think that was one thing about Sledgehammer Games that I honestly appreciated about them, was that they weren't afraid to innovate with that. I mean, they literally took the franchise and like turned it upside down, right? I mean, the exo jumpsuits, they had that interactive map environment. You know, they did, I mean, obviously they also had supply drops, which turned into its whole era of its own. But I mean, yeah, I mean, you know, obviously Call of Duty has tried its own take on microtransactions, right? It started off with Black Ops 2 buying camo packs, right? And they also had sold Nuketown separately, and then DLC packs, and then Ghost had the same thing. And then Advanced Warfare, I'd say, you know, at launch, Advanced Warfare had that same, you know, you buy what you want mentality, right? You can buy what you want, and then they started monetizing supply drops. The thing for me about monetization of supply drops that I was always against was it had functional items, right? It had weapons that had different stats. And that's where it got to me, where it was like, this is, you know, you're asking us to pay to win. It was quite literally pay to win. Black Ops 3 took it a step even further by locking new weapons behind it too. Not only was it variants of weapons, but post-launch weapons were locked behind that whole system, that they had the blackjack system, whatever. And to the credit of Activision, obviously, is that it made them a crap ton of money. It was clear that they knew which games they could go all in for and which they couldn't, right? With Black Ops 3, they had the chance to go all in because they knew people would spend. But with World War II and Infinite Warfare, they didn't go all in because they knew people might not spend as much. So they had alternate ways to earn weapons. In 2019, when Activision announced it was going to change, I still actually remember that time, right, when they announced that they were going to drop supply drops, because I was in LA actually at a Modern Warfare review event where they're letting us play the entire game. And I was actually sitting in that review event. I was playing the campaign of Modern Warfare when someone walked up to me and said, hey, check the Activision blog. They confirmed the Battle Pass. They confirmed COD points would be in the Battle Pass. I mean, they basically copied Fortnite. It was kind of clear that this was their first look at the next level, or the next era, you could say, of Activision with the new leadership, right? Because Modern Warfare was the game that came through with Rob Kostic as the president of Activision after the CEO, Eric Hirschberg, left a year or two before. You know, it was clear that Rob Kostic wanted to change what they were doing, right? That it was clear that this was him, right? It was very obvious this was what his doing. I think they were very scared, right? How would the Battle Pass do? Would it do well? Would it fall flat? I think to everyone's surprise, the Season 1 Battle Pass blew out expectations in sales. It blew everything out. The store was doing incredibly well. At that moment in time, they knew they had a thing that would work. And then you have Warzone, right, which is free to play, and that was it. I mean, they had the perfect thing set up for a Battle Pass system to work. And now here we are, right, where they're saying that Season 3 Battle Pass was the most bought season Battle Pass ever in the history of Call of Duty. And I mean, they straight up admitted in one of their calls too that the Battle Pass was a last minute decision because they need more time to get it ready. That's why it wasn't ready at launch in October. It came in December. Revenue might be a little bit delayed with microtransactions this year because of a later start to our new monetization system. What's next for microtransactions? Who knows? Gaming is evolving so much that who knows what they come up with next for microtransactions, or what else they might start charging for in the future.
What in your mind is the biggest misconception about SBMM?
Oh man, SBMM is a fun topic. I think the reality of it, right, is, and I've had conversations with a lot of different people that, you know, I can't dwell into too much, but I've had conversations about skill-based matchmaking. And I know fans like us, like the hardcore fans who play like Call of Duty at this level and are on Twitter or on Reddit, whatever, don't like it because it seems to hurt us, right? It does hurt us in games because we're going off, we want to get content, and the next thing you know, we're playing a lobby that's, you know, all CDL skins and we're losing our minds. The reality is, like, we're like 5% of the player base. Activision has to cater to the majority. And what's clear with Modern Warfare is, and this is public knowledge, so I'm not, you know, saying anything off record, whatever here is public from their press releases, is Modern Warfare had the highest player retention ever. And that's, I think, a key metric for them because it's how many players come back to the game after their experience. But I think there was two key metrics that the company kept mentioning, which was player attachment rate and player retention rate. Attachment is the amount of people who buy a battle pass or buy a store item, and retention is how many people who come back to the game. And both those are the all-time high. So while we might hate skill-based matchmaking, the matchmaking system they have is clearly working. Skill-based matchmaking is an interesting topic. It's something I probably won't talk about much anymore on CharlieIntel, just because it's clear Activision has the data that they have, that they want, that suggests it's working. Everyone's feedback, they're aware of the feedback, but their data is not what our feedback, they don't match up. The thing about that I'll say is that they don't talk about it. And it's a very specific reason why, and it's because they don't want competitors to know about their matchmaking system. You know, if you start delving into too much detail during the matchmaking, competitors might get to know more information about it, and I don't think that's something they want to do. The matchmaking system and exactly how it works and how it's set up is not public information, and I don't think it ever will be public information. I think the last time Activision as a company commented about skill-based matchmaking was Advanced Warfare. So I don't think they have plans to ever talk about skill-based matchmaking publicly again. Yeah, I think it's twofold, right? If you let the public know how it works, the next thing you know, they're going to beat the system, right? Or cheat the system. I guess that's what they say.
In the scope of what you can talk about, can you tell me what the biggest scrapped plan that Call of Duty have had that they've had to stop?
Scrapped plan. That's interesting. I think there's two things. I think there's one is the Roman Wars game that they had in development. I think it was Vicarious Visions or Toys for Bobs had that in development at some point. There were some images that leaked of it publicly, and Activision issued a statement saying that, we explore all sorts of eras and things, but this game is not releasing. So, I mean, I don't know exactly how far in development that game ended up. So, Roman War and stuff like that, I think would have been an interesting title, but that got scrapped. And the other thing I guess we can talk about, which I think was your upcoming question about Ural Mountains, whatever, we can say that too, is like Ural Mountains, I guess, this was also reported on by VGC and then other people as well too, is like it was supposed to be the next Blackout, but Warzone was too successful. Activision finally learned that they don't need to have competing games. Let one world live, which was, I think, the best decision they've ever made, right? You don't need to have a Warzone and a Blackout compete against each other. I don't think we'll ever see that release in this day and age. I think it was supposed to quite literally be for Blackout. I mean, you guys saw the image that leaked. There were several images that leaked of it, and they all have that Blackout engine. So you cannot just transfer that map into Warzone engine so easily. And I think Activision, an Activision artist said on a forum several months ago that Warzone's engine wouldn't change. I think those are the two ones, the Roman War games and then the Blackout 2.0 thing.
How do you feel Warzone in its current state right now actually is?
In terms of the map, I'd say the sun is too bright. That's got to be toned down a little bit. Someone at Raven, please tone that down. I think a Raven dev commented on that saying they were looking into it, so that's good. The biggest problem continues to be cheaters. We're over a year into this game's release cycle and there's still hackers everywhere. Sort of end in sight to it at this point in time. Activision obviously is banning accounts, but what does a banned account do? Right, I think that's a question a lot of people have had, is like, what does banning accounts do? If anti-cheat was there, I think it would be the best PR without a doubt out there. I'll just say that there is an anti-cheat that exists, but it needs to be a lot better for the amount of hackers the game has.
Taking it back to Warzone though, just very quickly, about the map, the nuke event to Verdansk 84, how do you feel the nuke event went with the level of hype behind it? How do you feel the map change is right now?
There was obviously a lot of rumors that went out about what's going to be next for Warzone, right? People thought there'd be a brand new map, and there was so many rumors that people hyped up about Ural Mountains and all this stuff that there was an unreal expectation that was set by the community for the game itself, right? Activision never said there was going to be a new map themselves. When Cold War launched, they launched Rebirth Island, right, as sort of like a holdover, and so people genuinely thought that there would be a new map, right? There wasn't. There was never the plan. That was never their idea. That was never their intention at Activision at all. I mean, obviously, it leaked, right? That trailer leaked, that went viral, and that went crazy of its own. People's expectations started to change then, right? It was like, okay, so we're not getting a new map, we're getting like a revamped map. I'd say the transition event was quite interesting, right? They let it last for 24 hours, right? So there was multi-part event where the current map was nuked, then Rebirth Island for 12, 16 hours. The new map appeared afterwards. I mean, I think Verdansk 84 in many ways does feel and play like a new map for a lot of people, right? It does. There's no longer that dam up there. The summit's more accessible, more places to go, also an airport and hospital. So there's a lot of levels to it, I think, that they did with the map. But also, Raven was in this weird position, right? If you do a brand new map, what if people hate it?
Look at Fortnite.
Fortnite, there is like no looking back with Epic Games, right? They're just piling on forward with their next map, iteration, and they don't care what people think. And I think VGC also reported this as well, but I don't think Activision expected Warzone to take off the way it did. I don't think they had enough resources behind Warzone over the last year. I don't think the entirety of Raven is still working on it. I think Raven still has like a campaign team and other MP teams, whatever, working on mainline CODs with other devs too. So, there still isn't like a full development team. Obviously, you've seen Toys for Bob and all of them join the fight now, right? Right now, every single Activision studio is touching Call of Duty in some way, shape, or form. So we're seeing how Activision putting all these different development studios on there is working.
Do you have any scoop on any of the new details on what's set to release this year by Sledgehammer?
Yeah, I mean, I think the rumors are out there, right? And I believe the rumors are true. It's been reported on by Eurogamer and and IGN and all of their sources now, right? And their sources are usually never wrong. The game is going to be World War II based, but I don't think we know much beyond that. I think the name has been leaked too as Vanguard. I think it makes sense for Sledgehammer Games, right? With everything they've been through, what could they have done, right? I think Activision is terrified of going near Jetpack games just because of the reception to it. Even though there might be an audience of people who would like it now, I don't think Activision would ever try that. I think a leak recently, a couple weeks ago or so, where it said that Treyarch might be working with Sledgehammer on Zombies. So for Zombies fans, that's a really cool thing if that turns out to be true.
Last question. 2 guns, 2 score streaks, and 2 maps from any Call of Duty into your dream COD. What are they and why?
Guns, without a doubt, Modern Warfare 2 ACR, my favorite gun of all time. I have to stick with Modern Warfare franchise, the Intervention. Score streaks, I'd say the Chopper Gunner, the Cluster Strike. I think those 2 are great. Maps would be Crash from COD 4 and Terminal from Modern Warfare 2.
And on that note, guys, this has been the IPC Wind Down. Man, thank you so much for joining. This has been a really, really fun episode for me to record.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me.